On January 23rd, 2023, my life completely stopped and changed forever. My sister passed away from stage 4 colorectal cancer, which she was diagnosed in October of 2022. She was only 45 years old. She was, how would I say this? And I hope I can get through all of this without crying and all the other stuff. She was someone that I admired, I looked up to because she walked to the beat of her own drummer, which I think a lot of us would like to do because we have this beat in our head, but we try to go at the pace of what everybody else wants us to go. But I think that also comes from just knowing who you are and being confident in who you are and not caring about what anybody else thinks. She was someone who was a friend to everybody. She got along with everyone, and she had this spirit that was contagious, and you would always know if she was around. You would always have a good time with Heather. From that, though, it was also one of the hardest things because you always think that at this age, she was 45, and I'm actually 48 and will be 49, that you would be burying your parent, and we still have our father, and never a sister, never a sibling, not this young. Maybe when you're in our 80s or our 90s, yes, but never at the age of 45. And I think it was heartbreaking for me because it really just made me pause because I never thought in a million years that she wouldn't be here. And so with that, I literally stopped. I stopped doing everything. I didn't do any content. I didn't show up for anything. I just had to be, and that is rightfully so. And I guess I wanted to do this video today to just talk to you about and just to say that it's okay. And that on the other side of this grief process, because it is definitely a process, this is the second time that I've gone through this. The first time was in 2011 when my mom passed of ovarian cancer. So this is something that is very dear to my heart. But at that point, I really didn't have a lot going on like I do now and trying to build a business. And so that's why I'm entitling this Building Through Grief, because no matter what happens, life is going to happen. Life is going to life like it always does. But we still have to remember that in some capacity or form, we still have to build and continue to go on, because I know personally that she would not want me and her twin and my niece and my dad to just stop and to still live life to the fullest, just like she did on an everyday basis. So the one thing that I'm learning, and the one thing that I've learned, that it's okay to stop and not do anything. And I didn't touch my business for probably almost a month. And at this point, it's April 11th. So this is probably the second, maybe third video that I've recorded since January. Even with the podcast as well. This has been the first time that I've actually started to do something, because I just needed a break, and I just needed to breathe, and I just needed to deal with what it was. I think the last time when my mom passed away, I didn't deal with it right away. It ended up being like a year later, and I literally exploded with having like my first real anxiety attack. So I don't want that to happen again. But this time I'm trying to take better care of myself when it comes to mental health, and just trying to focus and knowing that it's okay. But I knew that I had to get back to like my full-time job, and that truthfully at the time, that was all I could handle. Because listen, when I got back to that job, it was like it was difficult. It was to where I found myself and still find myself being irritable at times, and not really wanting to be bothered by people. And it always, for me, seems to trigger at work. So that's why it was sort of like, you know what? I'm going to have to put this on pause right now. I'm a band of one with doing this, so it's okay. And from that, I'm able to just rest, and I'm able to just get my thoughts together and just be with myself, and also to be with my emotions. The other thing, and I found this, it was funny because actually I saw this in a video maybe a few months before my sister passed. And it talked about how building whatever we are building, and for me, I am trying to build a side hustle, that it could actually help with my healing. Because of what I want to do, I want to be of service to women, especially women in the spaces of CEOs and executives, to have them always look their best and feel their best. So what better way for me to kind of begin through the process of getting back into the swing of things is reminding myself that if I help someone with building not only their image and their style, but also their confidence, because they all kind of go hand in hand, then I would also be healing myself and being able to put a smile on somebody else's face, and they're able to make me feel happy and good in knowing that I have served them in the capacity that I know I want to serve them in. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. You can always know that on the other side of grief, there is a good space and a good time, and we have to always go through things that life throws at us, and death is definitely one of them. We have to go through that, and we learn a lot about ourselves, and it kind of sometimes forces us to kind of sit down, but we don't want to get stuck there. We want to continue to move forward and to move on and to continue on with life. And I know since losing my mom almost 12 years ago, I think now, that it becomes easier to get it. The pain never goes away, but it does become easier to deal with. And it sounds crazy, but it's definitely the case, and it's definitely true. And I want to be able to heal myself. And also healing may also be going to therapy, which I have actually considered to finding, and possibly going to grief therapy to deal with it as well, because it is definitely a lot. And I know that the last time I kind of went through this, I had actually went through therapy, but I had waited so long, and I just blew up as far as anxiety goes. And I don't want to get there to that away, because that was definitely a very scary feeling for me. And I had literally just moved to North Carolina. It was 6 months after I moved here. I had this huge anxiety attack, and I don't want to repeat that, but if I do so happen to repeat it, I just want to be better equipped for it this time around. And I think the most important thing from this as well is learning is that I still have to keep the promise that I made to myself. And one of the promises that I made to myself is that I want to build a sustainable side hustle that will allow me to retire in the next 4 to 5 years. It will allow me to live the life that I want to live. It will allow me to free up my time to do what I want to enjoy. And I don't want me entering into my 50s to necessarily be the same as I was doing the past few years. I want to live sort of like my sister lived, fun on her own terms, being able to just enjoy life and have a good time. And that's sort of what I want to do. And I know that in order for me to do that, I have to get back to focus to this. And that doesn't mean going head first or diving in and using this as a way to hide myself or not deal with my feelings. Absolutely not. I feel that we all should deal with our feelings in some way, shape, or form, but as just a way to remember that through all this process, I still have to take care of me, and I still have to remember the promises that I made to myself in regards to the life that I want to live moving forward. And if it's the one thing that I learned from her in her short battle that she had, because it was from October to January, so it was only a few short months, that she did it with grace, and she did it with still a thing of making sure that everybody else was okay. And I think before I go, because I don't want to get all emotional and things, but I want to leave with this, especially for Black women. My sister was in pain for a very long time. So say around May, June, July of last year. When she finally found out, she went to the ER like twice in one day, and they told her that they were fibroids. And I dealt with fibroids before, and I knew that they weren't that. And I knew, and I could actually literally feel her pain through the phone. So I literally had to hang up to get off the phone because I started to cry. In October of last year, she was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer and was so gung-ho and focused on getting well so she could ring that bell, because then that would mean all of her treatments were done. But that didn't happen. But what I do want to tell you is, if you feel that something is wrong and the first doctor doesn't listen, find one that does, because we know our bodies better than anyone. And because she was 45, they really probably didn't think that she had cancer, let alone rectal cancer, which now they have lowered and dropped the age to age 45 to get screened. So if you have not, please schedule and get screened as soon as possible, or yeah. But I want you to be able to advocate for yourself. If you feel something's wrong, find a doctor or somebody that will actually listen to you and not just send you to you go to the ER, you get some pain pills, and through the pain that she was in, they didn't work. Like, they had to give her morphine. And those drips would only last 2 or 3 days. And just advocate for yourself and take care of yourself, and know that it's not in your head that we have to take care of ourselves, because no one is going to take care of us for us but us. So if anything that you learned today, and this is probably sort of one of those rambling videos, podcast episodes that I'm doing today, please just really take care of yourself. If you know something's wrong, find someone if they don't believe you the first time. And always remember too, that if you are going through grief like I am, it is okay to just stop and pause so that you can deal with the emotions that you're going through, and know that it's going to be a wave and it's going to be a roller coaster in the beginning. But I promise you that it will eventually level out, and you will learn from this to just live life, to create the life that you want to live. Because we don't know the day nor the time. And I know that a lot of us, and for me, I still have a lot of living in life to live. So I hope all of this kind of made sense today. And I hope it touches someone who might be going through what I'm going through right now, or even if it's years from now, that you're able to find this and find comfort in this in any way that I can help you. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.